Welcome students, I am going to start chapter of geography with title resource. So before starting this chapter, we must have to know about resource. So in simple language, we can say that anything which are used for us in is resource. Example like books, paper, vegetable, trees, because we use in our daily life in one way or other way. So he has given here a story of Mariam, Rahim and their mommy to make you understand about resource. Let's start. Mariam and Rahim were helping mommy to clean their house. Look at all these things: cloth, utensil, food grain, comb and this bottle of honey. Books, each of these has a use, said Mariam, and that is why they are important, said mommy, and these are resources. So here he is asking question, what is resource? Was Rahim's question to mommy's. Anything that can be used to satisfy a need is a resource. Anything that can be used to satisfy a need is a resource. So replied mommy, look around you and observe. You will be able to identify many types of resources. The water you drink when you are thirsty, the electricity you use in your house, the rickshaws you use to get home from school, the textbook you use to study are all resources. Your father has prepared a tasty snack for you. The fresh vegetable he has used are also resource. Water, electricity, rickshaws, vegetable and textbook have something in common. They have all been used by you, so they have utility. So what is utility here? So utility, the state of being useful, profitable or beneficial. So utility or usability is what make an object or substance a resource. Utility and usability. So how does something become a resource? Rahim wanted to know. Mommy told the children that things become resource only when they have value. Only when they have value. Its use or utility give it a value. All resource have some value, said mommy. Value means worth, not money here. Value means worth. Some resource have economics value, some do not. For example, metals may have an economics value, a beautiful landscape may not. So metal has economics value, but beautiful landscape is also resource, but beautiful landscape has aesthetic value here. So but both are important and satisfy human needs. Some resource can become economically valuable with time. Just here he has given here example, your grandmother's home remedies have no commercial value today, but if they are patented and sold by a medical firm tomorrow, they could become economically valuable. Your grandmother's remedy can become economically valuable if your grandmother patented. Here patented mean something that you have discovered by your own and you want to be in your name, right? So time and technology are the two important factors that can change substance into resource. Both are related to needs of people, and people themselves are the most important resource, and it is their ideas, knowledge, invention and discoveries, right? So these are two words, invention and discoveries. So there is little bit difference between two words. So invention is creating something new, totally new with one's own idea and development. And just like Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. And discoveries, so discovery is recognizing something that already exists for first time and that nobody has found before. Just like the Columbus discovered America. That leads to the creation of more resource. And each discovery or invention lead to the many others. And the discovery of fire led to the practice of cooking and other processes, while the invention of the wheel ultimately resulted in development of the new modes of transport. The technology to create hydroelectricity has turned energy in fast flowing water into an important resource. So next is types of resource. Types of resource. So this is types and classification of resource. So resources are generally classified into the natural, human made and human. So what is natural resource? So resource that can be drawn from nature and used without much modification are called natural resource. So example here is air we breathe, water in our river, lakes, the soil, mineral are all natural resource. Many of these resources are free gift of nature and can be used directly. So what is natural resource? Which we obtain from nature and we use directly without much more modification. And in some cases, tool and technology may be needed to use natural resource in the best possible way. So natural resources are classified into different groups depending upon their level of development and use, origin, stock, and distribution. On the basis of their development and use, resource can be classified into two groups: actual resource and potential resource. So actual resource are those resources whose quantity is known, and these resources are being used at present. And the rich deposit of coal in the rural region of Germany is an example of actual resource that we are using in present time. And petroleum in the West Asia is example, and the dark soil of the Deccan Plateau in Maharashtra state of our country. So are all actual resource. These are examples. So next is potential resource. Potential resource are those resources whose entire quantity may not be known, and these are not being used as present, and these resources could be used in future. The level of technology we have at present may not be advanced enough to easily and utilize these resources. The uranium found in Ladakh is an example of potential resource that could be used in future. High field wind were a potential resource 200 years ago, but today they are actual resource because we are using it today. And wind farm generate energy using windmills like in Netherlands. This is also example of potential resource, right? So you will find some windmill in Nagarcoil in Tamil Nadu and on Gujarat coast, right? So on the basis of origin, resource can be classified into two group: abiotic and biotic. So biotic means life and A means without. Here A means without, abiotic means without life, and biotic means with life. So abiotic resources are non-living while biotic resources are living. Soil, rock and mineral are the abiotic, where plant and animal are biotic resource. So natural resource can be broadly categorized into renewable and non-renewable resource. So renewable resource. So renewable resources are those which get renewed or replenished quickly, and some of these are unlimited and are not affected by human activities, right? So such as soil and the wind energy. Soil and wind energy are the example of renewable resource, and which human activities cannot affect, and we cannot exhaust these resource. So yet careless use of certain renewable resources, water, soil and forest, can affect their stock. And water seem to be an unlimited renewable resource, but shortage and the drying up of the natural water source is a major problem in many parts of the world, right? So non-renewable resource are those which have limited stock, and can be exhausted by the human activities. So once the stock are exhausted, it may take thousands of years to be renewed or replenished. Non-renewable resource take lot of time to renewed, and since this period is much more than human lifespan, and such a resource are considered non-renewable. Coal, petroleum and natural gas are some example of non-renewable resource. So next, on the basis of their distribution, resource can be ubiquitous or localized resource. So what is ubiquitous resource? Resource that are found everywhere. So example is air. Air we breathe are the ubiquitous resource because air present everywhere. But those resource, those which are found only in the certain place are localized resource. Confined only to the certain place. So it is known as localized resource, like copper and iron ore. The distribution of natural resource depends upon numbers of physical factors like the terrains, climate and altitude. Terrains, physical feature of the land, and climate, and altitude, height. The distribution of the resource is unequal because these factors differ so much over the earth, right? So next is human-made resource. So human-made resource, sometime natural substance become resource only when their original form is changed. And iron ore was not a resource until people learned to extract iron from it, and people use natural resource to make building, bridges, road, machinery and vehicles, and which are known as the human-made resource, right? These are all examples of the human-made resource. These are found by humans. So technology is also human-made resource. So next, so people like us use natural resource to make human-made resource. Said Mariam, nodding in understanding, yes, and said Rahim, right? So next is human resource. Human itself is a resource, and people can make the best use of nature to create a more resource when they have knowledge, skill and technology to do so. That is why human beings are special resource, right? People are human resource. Education, health help in making people a valuable resource, right? And improving quality of pupil skill, so that they are able to create the more resource is known as human resource development, HRD, right? HRD. So next is conserving resource. On next page. Conserving resource. So conservation of resource, using resource carefully and giving them time to get renewed is called resource conservation. Right? And resource conservation, balancing the need to use resource and also conserve them for future, is called sustainable development, right? So sustainable development, right? So what is sustainable development? Sustainable development is balancing the need to use resource and also conserve them for future, is called sustainable development. And we can say carefully utilizing resource so that beside meeting the requirement of present and also take care of future generation. So there are many ways of conserving resource. Each person can contribute by reducing consumption, recycling and reusing things. Ultimately, it makes difference because all our lives are linked, right? So next, the future of our planet and its people is linked with our ability to maintain and preserve the life support system that nature provide. Therefore, it is our duty to ensure that all use of the renewable resource are sustainable, right? All the renewable resources are sustainable, and the diversity of the life on the earth is conserved. The damage to natural environment system is minimized, right? So next is glossary. We have already learned from this chapter patent, technology, stock of resource and the sustainable development. So next are questions. Why are the resource distributed unequally over the earth, and what is resource conservation? Why are human resource important, and what is sustainable development? And we have learned all this from this chapter, right? So next question number 2, take the correct answer. Which one of the following does not make a substance a resource? Utility make a resource, value make a substance resource, but quantity is answer. So which one of the following is human made resource? Medicine to treat cancer is answer here. Spring water and the tropical forest are natural resource, right? So complete the statement. Biotic resource are derived from the living thing, right? This is correct answer, derived from living thing. So next is differentiate between potential and actual resource. You have learned from this chapter, and ubiquitous and localized resource also you have to differentiate between. So students, we have completed this chapter here, and but now I am giving you task hereafter watching video. I hope that you are all doubt related to this chapter should be cleared. And so next I am giving you the PDF solution of all these questions, and you must have to learn all question. As you know, you must have to write down all question answer on your fair notebook, including glossary. So students, remember, stay home, stay safe, love is.